Good morning, everybody. Well, I'm going to take a leaf from Teresa's page and wish you all a happy Divine Feminine Day and a wonderful Sunday. I'm Sarah Benson, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, and we're going to start with a couple of songs. I invite you to stand if you'd like, and let's get happy. Whoops, let's find the right songs. There we go. Oh no.
I can follow you if you're doing the right songs.
Oops, wrong key.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love you the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel the love inside myself, it's easy to love you. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. I love the world the way it is, 'cause I can clearly see that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. So till the birth of peace on earth that only love can bring, I'll help it grow by loving everything. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. The change outside can only come when deep inside I know beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love myself just the way I am.
Thank you, friends, here at the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, on Zoom and on YouTube later on today or this week. Thank you for joining us. It's always a great pleasure to be here. And I just want to make sure that you, each and every one of you, even off to my side, that I love you just the way you are. And I thank you for choosing to be here this morning with us. Hi, Reverend Bonnie. So my name is Teresa Valenzuela, and I'm a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision is a world in loving partnership, community, for the good of all. Welcome to anyone who's visiting here for the first time. I'm looking around. Everyone looks familiar, but if you are new here, please be sure to pick up a visitor packet so you can visit our bookstore, which you can anyway, because there is a certificate in there for you to use. And also be sure, whether you're first time or old time, that you have signed up for our email, our e-newsletter email. There is just so much information up there when you get it every Thursday that we can't possibly share with you on Sunday mornings. The current board will meet one more time prior to the annual meeting this Sunday, today, May 14th. The meeting is open. And this isn't written on here, but I'm going to ask the board members to stand up. And I would like to just give you a round of applause for all that you've done, all that you are, and all that you continue to be for the center. Thank you. We're looking forward to our annual meeting next Sunday, May 21st. We'll be having a potluck between the service and the annual meeting. So if you feel so inclined to bring something to share, we would appreciate that, but just come and join us. We have several board members who have completed their term and will be making room for others of you to provide sacred services as board members. Please join us for the meeting and help vote in our new members to the board. If you're interested in serving the board, it's not too late. Please let Bob know, right there behind all the tech stuff. We'll also be having a wonderful 5-week summer class facilitated by Reverend Bonnie starting June 6th through July 11th. Tuesday from 1:30 to 4:30. Sign up is right outside in the social hall. Please bring a friend. This is a bargain class, $45 up front, which is what we send to CSL, and a weekly love offering. CSL in the heart of Las Cruces has the opportunity. You said you didn't.
I didn't remember. I just wanted to quickly say, if you're not able to attend the annual meeting in person, you'll be able to do it on Zoom. We're going to use the same information that you used to log in on Sunday, and especially if you're a member, we need your participation because you'll be able to vote as a member, and we need to make a quorum. It's not that many, but I think we should, so even if you're not able to come in person, you can attend on Zoom. Just use the same link that you would use for Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you. I wasn't trying to be bossy or anything. No. I just saw that the next part is something, it's our June service project. So we're teaming up with New Mexico Alzheimer's Association, and we've signed cards at Christmas and Easter. So now we're going to collect items to make goodie bags for the 4th of July, and the New Mexico Alzheimer's, the local organization will be delivering them to 2 of our VA homes here in New Mexico. One at TRC for sure. We're not sure about the second one. So more information about that will come. And actually, Gentle Dentistry dental office is working in collaboration with us. They're donating packets of dental care to put into the bags. So we're working in collaboration with them as well. And I do have to say I found cards with the American flag on them that I'm quite proud of. And dollar stores are great. So enough for that. More information coming. And now I'd like to remind us that we believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. Please fill out a prayer request which can be found in pockets on the chair backs. There is a God can in the back where you can put your prayer request or drop it in the offering plate on the tables as you exit the sanctuary. Or you can use the prayer request button on our amazing, wonderful, and up-to-date website. Our prayer team, made up of practitioners and ministers from the 4 local New Thoughts, pray with you every Tuesday afternoon. We gather in Zoom. In addition, after service, if you would like a quick prayer treatment, because it takes very few words to reach the truth, the practitioners wearing the stoles will be around the room to provide this service for you. And we would love to have gratitude messages from you. So also in the back of the chairs, there's a gratitude card. Let us know how the divine has manifested wonderful things. And you might have to look dig deep, but there's always a blessing in everything that occurs in my life. So just sharing that with you. And now it is time for song, silence, and prayer.
Cup is full, my love overflows. I, a fountain of goodness and light. My cup is full, my love overflows. I, a fountain of life. My cup is full, my strength overflows. I, a fountain of goodness and light. My cup is full, my strength overflows. I, a fountain of life. My cup is full, my peace overflows. I, a fountain of goodness and light. My cup is full, my peace overflows. I, a fountain of life. Oh, my cup is full, my joy overflows. I, a fountain of goodness and light. My cup is full, my joy overflows. I, a fountain of life, a fountain of life.
And so as I bring to mind that place of gratitude, knowing that I am in the right place at the right time, that there is no lack or want within me, that just floating through knowing that I am one with each and every one within this room, within Zoom, YouTube, and with the whole world. What a magical knowing and being that is. And so already knowing that this morning is perfect, and just snapping my fingers for the music, thank you so much. And for our board president who keeps us in line and reminds us that we are an inclusive community. We want all of you to partake of the special gifts in life that we have received within this philosophy. It is all good and so good, and we are ready to hear our wonderful sister Peggy's take on the world of life, on knowing everything and anything is possible, right here and right now, and it begins with each and every one of us in our hearts, in our thoughts, and in our words. And so it is. Okay, the reading. I'm sorry, I read. I just want to be sure I don't leave anyone out. So last week, Reverend Bonnie picked up this book. If you did not hear Reverend Bonnie, you might want to go back to last week's talk. But she picked up this book and said Reverend Sam had given her a copy of this book, and that she had not read it yet. And you know what? I remembered that I had a copy of this book that was given to me by Peggy Shinn, because in A Course in Miracles I mentioned that I didn't want to do shadow work. I was too scared to do shadow work. She walked down to Coaz, bought this copy, and brought it to me before I could even leave the building on that Saturday. And I want to say, unlike Reverend Bonnie, I did get to page 5. 8 years later, and I'm on page 5. So this is not going back on my shelf till I finish reading it, and I thank you for this gift. And so the reading today is from the part that I have read. Most of us were raised to believe that people have good qualities and bad qualities, and in order to be accepted, we had to get rid of our bad qualities, or at least hide them. This way of thinking happens when we begin to individuate, as we extinguish our fingers from the slats of our crib and distinguish ourselves from our parents. But as we got older, we realized there's an even greater truth. That truth is that we are spiritually all interconnected. We are all part of each other. From this point of view, we need to ask whether there really are good parts and bad parts of us, or are all parts necessary to make a whole? Because how can we know good without knowing bad? How can we know love without knowing hate? How can we know courage without knowing fear? This holographic model of the universe provides us with a revolutionary view of the connection between the inner and outer world. According to this theory, every piece of the universe, no matter how we slice it, contains the intelligence of the whole. We, as individual beings, are not isolated, and we are not random. Each of us is a microcosm that reflects and contains the macrocosm. If this is true, says consciousness researcher Stanislav Grof, then we each and every one of us hold the potential for having direct and immediate experiential access to virtually every aspect of the universe, extending our capacities well beyond the reach of our senses. We all contain the imprint of the entire universe within ourselves. As Deepak Chopra puts it, we're not in the world, but the world is within us. Each of us possess every existing human quality, and I want to add those labeled good or bad. There is nothing we can see or conceive that we are not. And the purpose of our journey is to restore ourselves to our wholeness. And so it is.
I'm going to sing. Okay. This is what happens when you're gone for a week. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Okay, good. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, ready. This song is titled My Wish. It's performed by Rascal Flatts.
I hope the days come easy and the moments pass slow. Each road leads you where you wanna go. If you're faced with a choice and you have to choose, hope you choose the one that means the most to you. And if one door opens to another door closed, keep on walking till you find the window. If it's cold outside, show the world the warmth of your smile. But more than anything, oh, more than anything, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you wanted to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. You never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same things too. Oh, this is my wish. You never look back, but you never forget all the ones you love, the place you went. You always forgive and never regret, and you help somebody every chance you get. Oh, you find God's grace in every mistake. You always give more than you take, more than anything. Yeah, more than anything. I wish life becomes all that you wanted to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. Never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same things too. Yeah, this is my My wish for you is that this life becomes all that you wanted to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. You never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you get to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same things too. Yeah, this is my wish. Oh, this is my wish.
Can't go. Do this to clear out stuck poop fast. Fiber helps you poop, right? Nope.
We are truly
According
one.
to New
Thank
York's
you for
Top
that.
Gun.
Oh, sorry. We are truly one. Thank you for that song. I didn't see anyone dancing. Were you dancing in your seats? Making those wishes for others, right? Beautiful song. But without further of me talking, I'm going to talk about Peggy Shinn, who's licensed as a practitioner of religious science at Lake Chapala Center for Spiritual Living since 2017. The center is located at Hajihi, Jalisco, Mexico. I did purchase this shirt at Lake Chapala, which is right around the corner. When in residence there, she helps manage the center, teaches classes in both Spanish and English. She serves as a team leader of the organizers team for the Convention of the Americas, which is the first week of August, and I'm sure she'll give us some more information about that. I'm going. If you're interested, let me know. A bilingual Science of Mind conference. The Convention of the Americas is a bilingual Science of Mind conference presented by the Chapala Center in partnership with CSL International School of Spanish Leadership that's been held annually in Chapala since 2014. Formerly a practitioner here, a mentor of mine, a beloved friend, when it was known as Mastery in Life Center. We are always glad to welcome her back. Welcome home, Peggy Shinn.
Well, I don't know about for you guys, but it's a perfect morning for me so far. In terms of, God's in charge, showing up. This story about Teresa, I'm going to put this down. I think I need it a little bit lower. Can you hear me okay? I mean, you probably can hear me without it, but just in case, it maybe see my mouth at the same time I'm speaking, rather than have the mic looking like it's covering me up. Anyway, the dark side of the light chasers, when I was working on preparing my talk, I have a quote in here that I'll probably bring it back to that point when I do that, but I noticed from the note I got about my title this week, I said, well, what's the theme? I didn't know what the theme for May was, but I found out that it was light in the shadows, but I didn't really know until I looked at the Science of Mind magazine for this month that the light part was about doing your shadow work. So I'm not going to talk too much about the shadow today because I came with a little slightly different agenda, but I'm hoping that my talk will give you another level of motivation and inspiration for why you want to do this work called shadow work so that you can really shine your light in the world. I want to talk to you today about how your light can change the world. And I'm going to make you that promise that at the end of the talk today, if you don't feel like there's a way that you can change the world, I want to talk to you afterwards. See if I can't talk you into it. At any rate, that's what I plan to share with you. But since Teresa mentioned the convention, I'll share that part of that right now. This year, our speakers will be Edward Vilhune and Kathy Ann Lewis from the Seattle Church. In English, along with Jeffrey Ryan from the Riverside Center. And we have a couple of other people, a gal from Oakland who actually lives in Chapala now, will be one of our speakers and presenters and workshop presenters. We have a number of different workshops going on during the convention, which lasts, like from Tuesday afternoon to Saturday morning. So there's an opportunity, and we keep you pretty busy. If you come, I think Teresa probably can attest to that. Give you a little time off on Thursday. This is where the camera is, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to hold myself to the podium here, but if I start, you know how I am. If I'm out here, somebody get the hook out and bring me back into range if that's necessary. Thank you. Sorry if you guys in Zoom land are not seeing me. At any rate, we have a great lineup of speakers. We always have fabulous music. The food is incomparable, and it's the cheapest Science of Mind event you can go to anywhere in the world in terms of what it costs to travel there from here, which Teresa can tell you about how to do that from the other side of the border. And the cost of the event is the least expensive, and it includes all your meals and the hotel. And registration is going to open this coming week. I hope tomorrow, but we'll see how that works out. But if you are interested in getting in on it, see Teresa, she can tell you about it. She can forward you the email where you can go to the link that you could sign up for the information for people who are interested to learn more about what's going on with that event. It is a life-transforming experience for all concerned. And if you're up for that, we're up for you. The theme is expanding the light. So it fits right in with what we're talking about here today in regard to the light. I brought with me a couple books today. I'm going to read a little bit from. This one, How to Change Your Life by Ernest Holmes, I'm pretty sure is in your bookstore here because it's used in the Beyond Limits class. And the other one is the Neville Reader. There's several books contained within the Reader that are short little mini books. Neville Goddard was the author of these, who was a contemporary of Ernest Holmes, and actually on the New York side of things was going to make his talks at the town hall in New York City in the same kind of time frame years-wise that Raymond Charles Barker, who was the senior minister at the church he founded in New York City, the first church of religious science in New York City, after Ernest asked him to go east from California and carry the science of mind philosophy there. There's a lot more story to the history of science of mind that I love about there, but I'm not going to talk to you about that right now. But just so you have an idea who Neville Goddard is, if no one's familiar with who he is. And I don't imagine that this is in your bookstore, but your bookstore Baba can get it for you. So the idea of this world we see from Louise Hay's song that was in the front there, that I can clearly see the world as we want it to be, is what I want to talk to you about today. How do we see the world right now? Yeah, you're getting a little bit, yeah, right. That's the energy that we have kind of about what we believe that we see in the world right now. And it feels to me, from my own perspective as well as talking to other people, that there's a sort of an atmosphere of depression, hopelessness. Am I hitting any of the points there? What? Fear. Oh yeah, fear. Yeah, absolutely, fear. And it seems pretty far away from what we have as our vision statement in the science of mind that relates to we see a world that works for everyone. So part of what I want to talk to you about today is how we can get closer to the world that works for everyone when we understand that everyone includes all of us, everybody, all of what Teresa read to us in her reading about that we are all one at the end of it all, that we understand and judge others and judge ourselves and whatever, but it's all me. It's all of us. And to be whole, we have to integrate all of that whole of us as well as the whole of all. God within us knows that God is all there is and that God is all in all, always. That's a tough thing to remember right now, to bring that to mind, to hold that in mind, this oneness and this attitude of gratitude for that. So there's a idea that I've had for a lot of years, basically not too long after they put that vision statement out, about all the list of all the things that we see in the world when we see the world that works for everyone. And I'll ask you if you all have the same understanding about this from your classwork, if you've taken classes, that God can only do for me what God can do through me, which to me means the only way that the world that works for everyone is going to show up is the world that works for everyone is a world that works through everyone. So what I'm going to invite us to consider today is how we can allow ourselves to be used. Teresa and I were in Albuquerque a couple weeks ago at a Ricky Byers concert, and I was there for the workshop as well. Ricky Byers' music was kind of the soundtrack to my original years in New Thought, growth and understanding and studies. And so a lot of those songs have just been constantly on my mind because I didn't have to get the CDs out to listen to them. They're in there, but I kind of forget about them. But one of the songs is called Use Me. And probably some people, I see some head shaking in the room for people who remember when that song was used in this center, in this very room, many times. And a part of it is about, use me, O God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me what I must do. And part of the way the chorus goes is it's God needs us, and then there's a clap, to shine its light. And that's what I've been thinking about in relationship to the light in the shadows since I was starting to work on my talk about this. That song just keeps running through my mind, and I couldn't get it out of my mind this morning in order to read my notes for about the talk. I don't know if any of you ever had that happen. You get something in there and it just will not go away. But in your Science of Mind magazine this week and this month, there is an article from Ernest Holmes' radio shows. And I'd like to read you what Ernest has to say about how this world can work through us. So he says, today the world is as good as you make it, or as evil as you think it. Today you may meet as much love as you have to give. Today, you may enter into joy and happiness in yourself and with others if you do not block its current through you. Through you. And from this book of Goddard that's inside of this reader that's called Feeling is the Secret. I want to read you what he has to say about this too. He says, the world cannot change. I don't think that's going to work. The world cannot change until you change your conception of it. As within, so without. Nations as well as people are only what you believe them to be. No matter what the problem is, no matter where it is, no matter whom it concerns, you have no one to change but yourself. And you have neither opponent nor helper in bringing about this change within yourself. You have nothing to do but to convince yourself of the truth of that which you desire to see manifested. Your big dreams and your small worries. As soon as you succeed in convincing yourself of the reality of the state that is sought, results will follow to confirm your fixed belief. And because you can only change yourself, you never suggest to another the state which you desire to see him express, but instead you convince yourself that he is already that which you desire him to be. So if we're having wishes for other people, like in the song, we're holding for them that light that they are their wish fulfilled. And this is basically the theme of this little mini book in the reader, that feeling is the secret to the fulfillment of your desires. And we'll talk a little bit about how that plays out here. But you can see how Goddard and Ernest were, right in there in the same track, right? I've got to get my notes back up. My phone likes to go to sleep here on me. So what's required for the world to change then? We have to change. We have to change, and we have to change by virtue of how we feel about it, how we see it, how we can clearly see the world as we want it to be. All of those laundry list of things that we see a world without homelessness. We see, all those things in our vision statement about how we see the world that works for everyone. I want to believe that I believe that. And I suggest that most of you in the room want to believe it too. The difficulty is we're not seeing it. We're choosing to see all of the other aspects that we believe are not happening. Thank you. And we choose to focus on that. And what we focus on, what happens to what we focus on? It grows. It expands. Yeah. So why would we do that? Because we're human, So we need the reminders of how we can take ourselves out of that feeling and into other feelings that will be more positive in the focus for it. My version of the serenity prayer, I'll share with you that I have to remind myself to say pretty often anymore, which is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know it's me. The serenity prayer doesn't actually end that way. It's the wisdom to know the difference. I'm the difference. I'm the only thing that can make the difference. I'm the only thing that will become the difference if I become different. So that change is mine to do, as we read with Ernest and with Neville Goddard. So the world that works for everyone has to work through me, through you, through all of us. And if we don't see that shadow side of ourselves that you all have been talking about this month, that I'm not going to talk so much about, that's an obstacle, a blockage potentially to us for changing. Because it takes a lot of energy and time to hide that shadow or to deny that shadow exists. And it's something that it may not feel like it's the positive thing to do or the positive thing to focus on, but it's part of how we grow into who we truly are. Part of what was being read by Teresa was about who we really are, and with that shadow integrated into ourselves. And that made me think about Ricky Byers' song about "In the Land of I Am, all that I have been, I am, all that I will be, I am, all that I am, I am." And that little chant, excuse me, sorry, I'm having, as Larry Pass always called my sniffleculties this morning, and that I am the I am, if I'm hiding part of who I am, or not willing to deal with part of who I am, or not willing to grow through what I'm going through to become the greater I am, the best that I can, like the song said of Louise Hayes, then why am I sticking around? We might need to reconsider what the purpose is on the planet here. And so we see what we choose to see because we have choice. We know that in Science of Mind. There are a lot of folks out there walking around who don't see the world any way differently than they see it, but they think that they're seeing it as some kind of objective collective reality. They don't understand that there is no reality other than the world as they've chosen to see it. Their world is outside, both within and without. Is more controlled with a process and a thought process that they don't understand how it works. Well, we understand how it works. And we ought to be taking the personal responsibility for working it. The creative process that starts up here in developing the evolution of consciousness and the creation of what's physical in the 3D world. Neville says in here, in his book on the feeling is the secret, that there is a mechanism, he calls it, there is a mechanism for the production of every visible form we know. Those are his choice of words. The production we call manifestation, probably in our vernacular. And the mechanism is the creative process. And he goes on to explain in this little book that's only about 25 pages in this bigger book, not tough to read. If you want a PDF, I'll send it to you. Talk to me afterwards. But what if we can't see it, So we are taught that we use this law that is behind the whole creative process to see what we choose to see and declare that we have it already. And this teaching symbol that's up here, that many of you have probably been shown in your classwork in this room, is an indicative icon of how the process works. The idea is impressed upon the subconscious in there. So there's a consciousness that goes along with an idea of creating something. Those lines in the middle represent that creative medium or neutral area of subconscious. The V at the bottom represents where the actual thought arises into the form that we were declaring that we were going to create. So we all, I think, understand that everything is done twice. There had to be somebody who had the idea about how to build this podium, how to design it, the fact that there was a need for something like this. All of that had to come through mind before it could get designed and actually produced and created in form. Or as the Hindus would say, to be moved from the unmanifest to the manifest. That's what we are doing when we use the feeling as the secret sauce that Neville is suggesting. That when we use this process of the idea that comes from the conscious, that's impressed upon the subconscious, which always says yes, then we have the opportunity to add to that the frequency of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The big dream is already here. And the little worries are off to the side from the song that Becky sang. And we are allowed the joy and the feeling once again when it actually is revealed. Everything is within us, as we were being spoken to earlier today. It's all there. It's just waiting to be revealed. So both Goddard and Holmes teach us that if we can train our mind to have the dominant thoughts that are the positive ones of what we wish to see or what we wish to be, as though the wish were already fulfilled. We are taught in our treatment that that's what the treatment is all about. It is about convincing our mind that what we have declared in the affirmative, in the positive, in the present tense verb, which is kind of like, I am and fill in the blank. That's the affirmation. We are already in that space. It is already here. It is already revealed. This is what Sandy Scott taught me, was that, you're home with your feet up. It's done, kind of thing, at the end of the treatment and at the end of the day. So the feeling is the secret, and that mechanism is the idea or the impression on the subconscious that comes out saying, yes, well, we all know that this is how this works. But if you're like me, I'm often falling, because of all of what's happening in the world and my own world as well, we're falling into the forgetfulness of we could make a choice differently about how we choose to feel and think. And that'll make a big difference in what we see. Because when we attract into our lives something, we're not attracting it because we chose to want it. We don't attract at the frequency level of the wanting. We attract from who we are. So our frequency that we're putting out there is what is attracting the equivalency of the frequency of what it is we're trying to attract into ourselves. Well, if we're trying, we ain't doing it because we aren't there yet. So the idea is to get to that frequency. And the feeling that we have when you sit with your idea that you're impressing on your subconscious to manifest the outcome, and we see the world that works for everyone, and we move through that detail that's in that list of things. We see an end to war, we see an end to homelessness, we see everyone happy, joyous, and free kind of a thing. Then we've delineated that path that is repeatable again and again from what we're taught. So I ask you, are we accepting this law of consciousness as a way of choosing to see our world? Or are we on a default basis allowing it to be what we're judging because it ain't what we want? It didn't turn out the way we happen to believe we think it should have. We're not happy with the results. We're not happy with the people involved. And we're just busy judge. And you know who we were judging when we were judging that other or that situation? Why? Yeah, exactly. I see you guys pointing to your own chest. That's it. Yeah. So why would we do that? Because we're human. So we're busy forgetting some of the things that we've known and aren't practicing, perhaps. So that universal law that's operating is bringing to us just more of what we're thinking about. And if, we're not thinking at the higher level, we're not helping to bring the world to the higher level. So what I hope that I can, do today here with you all and with me, because I'm talking to hear myself about it too. I need a little pep talk here, is that within the law, I want to use it consciously rather than by default, by design. I want to choose these things that I want to be my dominant process, my dominant thinking process, which then controls my dominant feeling process. Neville says in this book here that the he or she who can control their feelings can control the creation of what they choose to have in their world. And we know that this can happen. We know the science behind this. We've read the books and taken the classes and done the seminars, and we watch these people on YouTube. And we have this here. But it's time to really get it from here where that knower that knows is experiencing the direct connection, like Teresa was talking about in her reading. The direct connection. We all have the opportunity to have that direct connection with Spirit. And will allow us to bring this into a new level. And there's a couple of suggestions that Neville has in the book that I want to share with you. That because we're more prone in the sense typically to fall off that wagon and to forget sometimes who we are and whose we are, with the world events crashing in on us, and we're forgetting, well, that's just today's prayer requests, I'm turning that off. Not watching the TV or I've heard enough to know that this is what I'm going to go into prayer about. The mechanism that Goddard talked about that produces the outcome, we're a part of that. Our energy, our frequency is a part of that, because the world that works is the world that's still working through us. So it's about the feelings, as the song says, feelings, nothing more than feelings. And if we can ramp up that feeling, even if we have to act as if, even if we have to force a smile, even putting the physiological muscles to work on your face to smile, changes your body chemistry and your frequency. And I see a bunch of you smiling at that, right? Yeah, you know how this can work. So what Goddard said is, whosoever learns to control his or her feelings has learned to control what he or she is going to create in his or her life. But the two aspects of consciousness, this conscious and subconscious element, are a part of how it works, but we're not always able to access that subconscious, which is really where the change is happening, really where the work is being done. And for whatever reason, we were designed at the level that we aren't always consciously aware of our subconscious. We're very seldom actually aware of what's in our subconscious. So Goddard has a couple of suggestions about how we can keep working with this feeling at a closer to subconscious level. And every night before you go to sleep, don't go to sleep upset or angry or unhappy about things. Go to sleep by training your mind to go through the process of your dream, of your wish being fulfilled, and feeling the feeling of it's already here, it's already done, it is who I am now, here. And that feeling, as you're kind of twilighting into the sleep phase, he says, penetrates more into the subconscious. His other suggestion is prayer, because he said when we go into a prayerful state, we're also diminishing all of that, and meditation, we're kind of closing into the interior world, and we're cutting out all the things that our senses are distracted by. And it's closer to being like in that just before sleep or just waking up in the morning process. And so that again, if we practice whatever it is that and write out your own script, whatever it may be, for what it is you want to see in the world, what it is you want to see in your world, and keep feeling the feeling that it's already done. Not that if and whenever, and I hope, and none of that. It's here now. Be here now with it. And it will be more and more powerful even as it evolves and manifests. This imagination is a big thing throughout all of Neville's work. If you're familiar with any of his other works, he has a book that's called Imagination. That the imagination, as we know from science, we don't know the difference between the truth of what is actually happening right here, right now, at this moment that I'm talking to you, and what we're imagining. Because the mind doesn't discern between the imagination and the reality. So when it's all said and done, I say that we just look at it from the standpoint of, to take off of the Elizabeth's book, that we feel, sleep, and pray. And that will take us into that space where we're allowing our imagination to help with the impression of the thought that comes through the subconscious into the manifestation. And we'll be better able to see the world that works for everyone, instead of what the news and other people and the woe is me stuff that's going on. All of that doesn't serve. It doesn't serve. To be at the affect of something that you can't have any effect upon is pretty tough. And I'm inviting us, to have an effect upon our lives and the lives of others and the world that we choose to see. We're back to Gandhi again, right? Be the change that you wish to see in the world. So we have to have this realized feeling and ramp that up. Even if you think it's childish, even if you think it's crazy, even if you think it's over-exaggerated, even if there's a part of your mind that's continuing to say, no, you can't have that. No, that won't work. No. Just keep making the dominant thought and the feeling. And then the dreams get bigger and the worries get smaller. I loved your little expression with the song there. And I think that's really how it works, and that's really all we have to do. Just keep repeating that nightly. And I've been working on that myself this week to remind myself to set that habit of going to sleep, and before going to sleep, having the thoughts and the feelings that go with the thoughts of the wish fulfilled. And it is changing me. I can feel that. So you find the way that it helps for you to convince yourself that it's not what you're telling yourself or what others are telling you, but that it is a world that is a world of God. In this book, Ernest says that every soul finds its emancipation not by loosing itself into God, but by finding God in itself. And I think that's what we're always talking about here, is the God that is within, the God that is us, the God that is all God, always, and that everything we see, hear, and feel is God. And I'd like to include the treatment in my talk with a little audience participation. Usually when I'm here speaking, Reverend Bonnie's here, and she does the treatment afterwards, or Teresa, the platform assistants, would do the treatment. But I invite you all to have a little audience participation with me to see how it feels to say aloud the words that I'm going to ask you to say in a kind of a call and response fashion. Okay? So I'm going to start the treatment by reading what Ernest has to say here. In this book on how to change your life, near the end of it, there is a series of little mini chapters of how to do something, how to dissolve obstacles and wrong conditions is the one that, I'm not so sure that in today's world I'd even want to take Ernest's appellation, wrong conditions. I'm not sure what editor put that in there. I don't know that Ernest would ever say that anything is wrong or bad or evil. It's just mistaken, So I'm going to read you this first part, and we'll just go into the treatment if you sit quietly in your chair and allow yourself to relax into this moment, and knowing that you're open to feeling the expression of the feeling that moves through you as we move forward into the how to dissolve obstacles. So the knowledge that the great I am is ever available gives us an increasing capacity to draw upon it and to become inwardly aware of the presence of Spirit within. Through the quiet contemplation of the invitation of Spirit, we learn to look quietly and calmly upon every false condition, seeing through it to the invisible side of the reality which molds the conditions, and recreate instead all of our affairs to a divine pattern. And with penetrating spiritual vision, we connect and dissipate any obstruction, remove any obstacle, and dissolve any wrong condition. And now I'm going to say the affirmations in here and ask you to repeat after me. I now claim health instead of sickness, wealth instead of poverty, happiness instead of misery. Now let's get a little feeling up here. In such a degree as I gain mastery over the sense of negative. In such a degree as I gain mastery over the sense of the negative. Whether it be pain or poverty. I am proving the law of mind and action. Every thought of fear or limitation is removed from my consciousness. I know that my word transmutes every energy into constructive action. Producing health, harmony, happiness, and success. Okay, breathe that in. I'm going to read it again. I know that my word transmutes every energy into constructive action, producing health, harmony, happiness, and success. Now. Yeah, so you feel it now. I know there is something at the center of my being which is absolutely certain of itself. It has complete assurance. It gives me complete assurance that all is well. Okay, breathe that one in. All is well. I maintain my position as a divine being here and now. And an appreciation and gratitude for all of these feelings and all of this philosophy and all that God is in our lives. We know and recognize that every word that has been spoken is true. It's true here, it's true now. All of this is manifested. So as I go about my life, as we read in the beginning from Ernest's talks for this thing called life, that we can go about our day and receive the happiness and love at the level that we give happiness and love, at the level that we feel happiness and love, at the level that we are happiness and love. If we don't shut off the current of it that moves through us. And I affirm that that switch is on, the current is flowing, and we have removed all obstacles of its continuous flow. And right here and right now, we declare that we have allowed this to be. We have let go of this, knowing that it is so as it has been spoken, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Let's just stay right in the flow of everything else that's been happening this morning. The song is called Path of Light. It's by Peggy Lebo. I will
will trust in the Spirit. I will open my heart. I will always remember the truth of God that has brought me this far. So lead me on this path of light, and every step I take in faith leads me home to the place where all I know is love and grace. Lead me on this path of light. I'll shine a light in the darkness. I will bring forth the truth. I will always honor the beauty and light that I see in you. So lead me on this path of light, and every step I take in faith leads me home to a place where all I know is love and grace. Lead me on this path of life. As I breathe, I become completely one with the light and the love. Completely one. As I breathe, I become completely one with the light and the love. Completely one. One. Lead me on this path of light, and every step I take in faith leads me home to a place where all I know is love and grace. All I know is love. All I know is love. All I know is love and grace. Grace.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. In December of 2007, I found a home here, Mastery in Life, and I hope that each and every one of you find us to be your home as well. Thank you for being here with us. And now with that, it's a time when we consider giving back to our center financial support. We also love your time and talent as well. But there you can leave your tithe in our offering plates at the door. And this month, our tithe recipient is La Casa Incorporated. Their mission is to support everyone affected by domestic violence. Our vision, a just and safe community free from violence and abuse. So focusing on all that love and special caring to each person, each thing here on this planet. That's where my mind's going to be today. La Casa Incorporated is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization in domestic violence prevention, awareness, advocacy, and support. Awareness, advocacy, and support. Please see our newsletter for more about La Casa. So please join me as we affirm our blessing, and I believe it'll be here on our screen. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies. all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, as me. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So all has been said, all has been received, and we say together, and so it is. So I invite you to stand as you can. Ooh, that rhymes. And we will sing our closing song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our center, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment